Hey everyone, welcome back for a little TLC. So, we are officially getting back to our series titled Out of Context, where I'll be talking about various passages of scripture or verses that people frequently take out of context and breaking them down and giving the right interpretation for those. So, I don't know if y'all remember, I barely remembered. I don't even know when we did this, but we started off by going over Philippians 4 and 13. Yes, Philippians 4 and 13, which is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If you've forgotten about that video, then I'll be sure to link it in this video and put it in the comment section. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about the comment or the phrase, God won't put more on you than you can bear, as the out of context focus for today. And so that comes out of the scripture, 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, where the Apostle Paul says, no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. I feel like I've already given it away by saying the scripture itself, but anyway, today's topic for Out of Context is God won't put more on you than you can bear. Let's get into it. Okay, so people say this phrase, God won't put more on you than you can bear, when someone is going through certain trials or certain struggles. There are entire songs that talk about this. Yeah, I remember people dancing to and even singing, like, He'll never put more on you than you can bear. And they use this text, 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, to say that, but it's just not right. This scripture is talking about temptation. We did a how to study the Bible video a couple of months ago, where I talked about, like, if you're reading a particular text, make sure you read like 10 verses before or 10 verses after, so you can make sure you're putting things in context. So I'm going to read 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13. I'm going to read verses 1 through 13 so we can see what the Apostle Paul is talking about. And he says, "For I do not want you to be ignorant of the fact, brothers and sisters, that our ancestors were all under the cloud, and that they all passed through the sea. They were all baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea. They all ate the same spiritual food and drank the same spiritual drink, for they drank from the spiritual rock that accompanied them, and that rock was Christ. Nevertheless, God was not pleased with most of them. Their bodies were scattered in the wilderness. Now these things occurred as examples to keep us from setting our hearts on evil as they did. Do not be idolaters, as some of them were, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and got up to indulge in revelry. We should not commit sexual immorality as some of them did, and in one day 23,000 of them died. We should not test Christ as some of them did and were killed by snakes. And do not grumble as some of them did, and they were killed by the destroying angel. These things happened to them as examples and were written down as warnings for us, on whom the culmination of the ages has come. So if you think you are standing firm, be careful not to fall. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear, but when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. So the Apostle Paul is talking about how we have to be able to stand in the face of temptation. We shouldn't be like the ancestors who were ultimately destroyed because they were engaging in revelry, because they literally had Christ with them in the cloud that led them, and they still decided that they were going to sin and fall to temptation. They were going to fall to sexual immorality. They were going to grumble and complain. We as believers can't fall into those same traps. We must endure temptation. But the good news is, the Apostle Paul doesn't say you just got to endure it. He is providing encouragement that God will help us when we are tempted. So he's saying, look, what you're going through is not unique to you. This is very common, but God is faithful. God is faithful in your temptation. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will provide a way out so that you can endure it. Other versions say a way of escape so that you can endure it. So the good news is not that you won't be tempted, but you won't be tempted beyond what you can bear, and God will provide a way of escape. He will provide a way out for you so that you can endure temptation and not ultimately be condemned or destroyed like so many of the ancestors were. The scripture literally says what it's talking about. It says He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. So I don't really know where we get this concept of the Lord won't put more on you than you can bear. That just isn't, that phrase just isn't something that is supported biblically. Not when you hear things like, a man's days are few and full of trouble. Not when so many people were going through even being persecuted to the point of death, being stoned. Jesus Himself had to endure the cross to the point where He said, my God, why have you forsaken me? Don't nobody want to hear God won't put more on you than you can bear when they're going through. And this scripture is not saying that. This scripture is saying that we won't be tempted beyond what we can bear. The Lord always provides a way of escape. We might not always take it, but He does always provide it. And that is what this scripture and the text leading up to this scripture is talking about. We just took out some words about temptation and just want to apply it to everything. So this scripture is not talking about God not putting more suffering or persecution or trials on you, because we know that if we suffer with Him, then we will reign with Him. Suffering is a part of life, but God will not let you be tempted. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. That is what this text is talking about. I would love to know what you all think about this. Do you think that people take this text out of context? How do you think we got here? Just let me know your thoughts. Make sure you like, comment, and share, and I will see you next time for a little TLC. Bye-bye.